Welcome back to Central Valley Talk. I'm your host, Mike Briggs, and what we do is we celebrate what's going on in the Central Valley, all over the valley, big cities, Fresno, small cities, Kingsburg, medium cities like Sanger and Selma. So many things going on, growth and good things and activity. We like to have on our show every once in a while people from these various cities and these communities to say what's going on out there. And our guest today is Tim Chapa from the city of Sanger. You're the city manager out there.
Yes, I am.
Long-time city manager.
Yeah, I've been there 7 years now with the city of Sanger.
Wow. Now, let me ask you this first. We had these storms. How were you guys affected?
We weren't affected that badly because we've got a pretty solid storm drain system.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, we had sandbags available for community residents.
It was a lot of water.
Yeah, no, and we had to run on the sandbags. I think the whole county had to run on
Yeah.
the sandbags, but not too bad in Sanger.
So you're ready. That's why.
Yes.
And in fact, you're getting ready for future growth and expansion. Tell us about the whole corridor academy out to the 180.
Yeah, so when you look at Sanger, Sanger's city limits stop just short of going out to the 180 on Academy. And it's really been the dream of city councils for the last 50, 60 years to bring that property into the city for economic development opportunities. And just last year, after about 3 years of hard work, direction and support by the city council, we annexed in Academy Avenue from the Sanger northern city limits up to the 180.
All the way to the 180.
Yeah, and so it really is going to provide for some future economic development activities. It was over 300 acres.
Yeah, it's not easy. Just, we'll annex this. You have to go through what organizations?
Well, we have to go, we have to work hand in hand with the county because those lands are really county lands before they're ours. But we also go through LAFCO, which is the local formation commission that has us follow all of the state rules and requirements. Mm-hmm. And then they're kind of the bridge between us and the county.
Right. Now, the land was in the county. The county's collecting all the property taxes, and you're bringing it into the city of Sanger. So that's sometimes why they don't want to let go of the land and let it go into a city. Sure,
but this county, Fresno County, recognizes the importance of growth for the local cities. So in partnership, as long as it's a good plan, the county really works with you to, eventually transition their share from what is both property and sales tax over to the cities.
Right. Now, you, Sanger, you're kind of going to get ahead of the game. I notice when I go through parts of Fresno County, unincorporated, and then it gets brought in the city, the infrastructure is behind the development, and you're always waiting for it to catch up. But you guys are going to go out in front of it.
Yeah, so again, typically a city may annex lands into the city, but then they step back and rely on development to come in and to provide all the infrastructure. We recognize that that is a key component. It's a key incentive to businesses.
Have the infrastructure in place.
Yep. Yeah. So we've put together a couple different infrastructure financing plans to put in the water, sewer, and storm drain ahead of time. Mm-hmm. Ultimately the businesses are going to pay for that, but if they don't have to pay it all up front, it makes it a little bit easier for them to come in.
And it's a lot more immediate too. When you say, you can put your business right here, after all this other stuff, but you're going to have a lot of the stuff done.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And by the way, you're going to know the exact costs and everything that way.
Right. And one of the ways we're doing this is using a mechanism that the state has now allowed, which is called an assessment district, an enhanced infrastructure financing district. And it replaces what was the old redevelopment assessment districts. Not too many cities in California are establishing EIFDs, but I'm proud to say that just in November, we established that assessment district in that same growth area. And I think City of Fresno is now looking at EIFDs, Madera, and even City of Selma. So,
in a way, are you saying you're kind of taking out a loan to put it in, and then it'll be paid back by the developers?
Right. Yeah. So we know that today's value, the property tax base, has a set value. If we layer an assessment district over that, then we can take the value of that increased increment for purposes of this infrastructure financing district, put it right back in, and it almost feeds on itself to be able to encourage more growth, more development.
That's nice. Now, is it all planned all the way? Do you have all the land uses decided all the way out to 180?
Yes, so our general plan does include all of the land use designations, but what we're really looking for is some of the major property owners out there to put together what we would call specific plans.
Okay.
And so even though the general plan lays out the land uses, if someone comes in and says, I'd like to master plan, specific plan this area, we will work with them to adjust the land use so that it is a successful project.
Now, in my mind, I look at Academy and I just think commercial, 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 but will it be a whole mix of uses out there?
Correct. So it's interesting, in talking to one of the developers, one of the property owners out there, they encouraged us to look at it beyond just a commercial perspective. And so we have what's called a mixed use overlay in that area that will allow for both commercial development and some residential development.
Some residential development. Yeah, well, it's a lot of space out there, that's for sure.
Yeah, but it certainly is the next growth area for the city of Sanger.
Sanger is one of the most beautiful places. I mean, you see the mountains right there, and it's just lovely. But Sanger used to be way out there, but now that freeway, you're there.
Right, it's 5 minutes and you're there from Fresno.
Yeah, you can go there from Fresno. So.
Yeah.
Or I look at it the other way. I have family that lives in Sanger, and they easily can pop into Fresno for anything they need, but they won't move out of Sanger, that's for
Right,
sure.
and to that point exactly, Mike, what we're seeing in Sanger is we're seeing folks who leave Sanger to go do their shopping in Fresno and Clovis. So what we're trying to do is to establish those businesses in Sanger so that folks can stay in Sanger and spend their tax dollars
Spend
there
their
in
tax
Sanger.
dollars there, yeah. And I was the opposite. I lived up halfway between Fresno and Sanger out in the country, and it was so much more enjoyable to pop over to Sanger and do our shopping over there than
Yes.
coming into Fresno. So look out, Sanger, because we're coming. We're going to come spend our money there. What else? I asked you a little about the police department. You have the police chief, Greg Garner, there,
Yes.
and it just seems to be a really safe area to live.
Yeah, one of the things the community did back in 2008 is the community taxed themselves, passed an additional ballot measure, where all of those funds would go to public safety. And when I look at what the community has done in passing Measure S, they've really said, we want a safe community, and we're willing to pay the difference
A little
for
bit
it.
different. So there was
Yeah.
only that much difference.
Yeah, it
was
was
it a sales tax?
A
or-
3/4 cent.
Yeah.
3/4 cent.
And I always, we anti-tax people, I always say, if there's a tax and the people all come together and say, no, we want it, and it's for that purpose, I say, good for them. Good for
Right, and because it was a special tax, it requires a 2/3 majority approval, 66.6%. This last time we went out in 2016 to reauthorize it, we were at 76%.
76%.
So, again, whether you're a proponent of taxes or not, when the community comes out and says 76% of us want it, the local community has spoken.
Well, it's not like some of our other taxes that you send off to who knows where they go. It's right there in Sanger. You see what you're getting for it, and it's a safe community. When we hear every day the crime that is just going crazy out there.
Yeah, again, the challenges are there. We understand how the community has been changing. We know what the recent tragic issue has been out in Selma with the officer who lost his life. And I'm not going to say that Sanger doesn't have crime, but we have the staff, we have the equipment, we have the funding to be able to address it as best possible.
Now, high schools, are you up to 2 high schools now?
So the Sanger School District is up to 2 high schools, but because the school district's boundaries are larger than the
That's right.
city's boundaries, the second school district is Sanger High School is technically outside of
Out
the
of the
Sanger
city, yeah.
city
Yeah,
limits.
but-
Yeah.
But Sanger has a tradition where they identify, with their schools, and that it's a great community. When you meet somebody from Sanger, and they say, "Are you an Apache?" Are they still called Apache?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and there's a lot of pride associated.
There is a lot of pride with that. What else, Tim? We're about out of time. What else you want our viewers to know about Sanger?
Just one of the things is we had an issue with the water reliability last summer, and the short story is that it was a perfect storm. A couple things happened that created it. But we learned from that, and so we are now developing 2 new wells, and in addition to that, we are rehabbing 4 wells.
Rehabbing
So
4 wells. Yeah.
we're getting ahead of it, and again, we know what happened last summer. we're doing our best to try to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Well, I always think that the best water is closest to the mountains, and Sanger's
We're
right
right
there. You
there.
guys have the best water out there.
We
so
are right there.
we just got to figure out how to pipe it to Fresno. No, we're not gonna. We're not after your water. All right, Tim. I appreciate you coming, keeping us updated. Oh, last thoughts for our viewers?
Well, again, just thank you for having me back.
Our
I think
pleasure.
this is my third time back with you, so I look forward to the next time.
We invite you a lot, and we learn how busy you are because somebody calls from your office and says, he's so busy right now. Maybe we'll wait another couple of weeks or something like that. But we appreciate you anytime.
We'll do it again soon.
Tim Chapa, City Manager, City of Sanger, one of the longest ranging city managers in our whole community.
There's
So,
two others who are a little bit longer than
Yeah,
me.
congratulations on that, too.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more after this.